What's up, guys? It's Crash, and I was fortunate enough to get a sneak peek to the roadmap for Gray Zone Warfare, and I'm able to share that with you guys, as well as some of the rundown of what's coming in each season. Now, if you want a little bit more of a breakdown of a deep dive of what is granularly coming to each season, my roadmap preview has a few more details here and there that I made a little while back, but this gives us more of a definite time frame and kind of the big picture items that are coming to each season. So with this one coming up with Night Ops, that tells us, the big marquee feature is going to be nighttime, everything, all the gear associated with that, as well as quality of life stuff. So when we're talking about these things, I'm going to tell you about the big marquee thing that's kind of in the flavor text that goes along with the roadmap. And then like the bigger deal, there's going to be more intricate stuff like along the way, right? Like every single patch is going to have quality of life stuff. It's going to have AI improvements. And this is definitely not an all-inclusive thing. This is kind of telling us like the big marquee things that are coming. Now, if you guys want to hear it straight from the horse's mouth, Mara is going to be doing a stream a couple hours after this video goes live. So 2 hours after this video goes live, noon Central US time, over at twitch.tv/MadfingerGames. The head guy, Mara, is going to be over there talking about everything coming in the future of Gray Zone Warfare. So let's go ahead and get into the roadmap and talk about it just a little bit. There's some flavor text that goes along with it, so I'm just going to kind of skim that stuff and talk about each one of these. I probably will skip Night Ops. We made a video on that already. We know a lot about what's coming to Night Ops, and there's going to be some more intricate details coming in the future, but we've talked about that quite a bit. Spring of 2025 comes Dark Revelations, and when we talked about this in my other video, basically it talks about immersion lies at the heart of Gray Zone Warfare, surrounded by rain and resonating whispers of the past. So weather, right? Hopefully we're going to start seeing some weather. Each step you take will bring you closer to uncovering the island's dark revelations and events that shaped its current state. With every new location, environmental detail, and storyline element, Lemang Island becomes increasingly vivid and captivating, drawing you deeper into the mystery of the events that unfolded before PMCs arrived. So that's one that is going to have a lot more lore. There's going to be things that you can find around. I'm assuming, this is me assuming, there's going to be some significant changes to questing there, and there's going to be some stuff around the island where we can start to piece together the story, as well as having the weather will take things up quite a bit too. So there'll be a lot more stuff to do on the island, and it sounds like when they talk about every new location, environmental detail, and storyline element, it sounds like storyline and map changes are going to be the big deal in spring 2025 for Dark Revelations. And then in fall of 2025, it's going to be the soft. I don't want to say. I don't know if I guess I could say soft skills. I guess and certificate and the skills, like you learn skills like sniping skill and things like that. The skill system is coming to the elite operator in fall of 2025. That's kind of the big thing. Sharpen your abilities through tactical maneuvers. Earn certifications that reflect your expertise and prove your worth in the battlefield. Every decision you make, whether it's precision sniping from a distance or charging in with close quarters combat, hone your craft and strengthens your status. Also, big one coming to this one is the camps. Additionally, camps will attract attention, leading to increased conflicts between PMCs and heightening the stakes of every battle. Be mindful, seizing camps comes at the risk of needing to defend. So we're starting to piece this together. In update point 4 is going to involve 2025 is going to be the camps that you can take over. When a faction holds them, you'll be able to you'll have a trader there that you can work with, as well as you'll have some security, some AI security, and you will have those benefits as long as you hold it. I'm pretty sure they also said AI can take that over as well. And then as far as skills are concerned, now the last time I heard they talked about this like way early on when the game was getting ready to launch, was like skills are going to be not like Tarkov where you just like reload your Mosin Nagant like over and over and over and you get sniper skill. It sounds like it's actually going to be to where you go to a place on the map. And this is just me, kind of paraphrasing and using my own memory from kind of before launch, what their vision was. You go to a place upon launch, you might visit someone who's like a sniping expert, and you have to take on some assignments, and then you kind of get, the sniper skill, the perks that come along with that. And I'm assuming something that's cosmetic would be really cool too. If you get something cosmetic to where if you're like an elite sniper or elite close quarters combat or something like that, would be super, super cool. Then spring 2026 update point 5, gather, adapt, create, prevail. This is going to be about crafting. Crafting becomes a cornerstone of survival in this unforgiving landscape. Success hinges on your ability to gather resources, refine your crafting techniques, and forge the tools essential for overcoming challenges. Mastering these skills will not only boost your survival, but grant you a tactical edge, ensuring you're well equipped to face the trials ahead. So that kind of makes me think maybe there's going to be some items. This is, again, just me talking. I'm reading the stuff and then kind of coming up with my own thoughts here. And I would welcome you guys to do so in the comments down below as well. But that makes me think if you get an advantage, that maybe that there's things that you could craft that you can't buy. So that'd be really cool if there's some things like you need. It would just increase the loot, like the reason to loot, the rarity, the scarcity, and basically the demand of loot, right? Like there's more things to find. If you want to craft something really cool, like some really good armor or a big backpack or something like that, you have to find this stuff, and crafting it is the only way. So the way we can get loot, we know in point 2, like Night Ops that's coming up, we're going to get some high tier loot. So looting is already going to get a little bit of a boost. Then if we need things for crafting, that's going to give looting another little boost and a reason to loot, check your enemies, check places out, go to places on the map and look for stuff. So that's really cool. Fall 2026. This is, again, guys, I say it every video, marathon, not a sprint. So in fall of 2026, master the art of silent and deadly warfare. So they're going to be calling this Shadow Strike. And it looks like this is going to really hinge on stealth warfare, takedowns, enhance your skills in stealth tactics and tactical maneuvers to gain a decisive advantage and outmaneuver your enemies. Perfecting these skills will enable you to achieve your objectives efficiently and silently, ensuring you maintain the upper hand in even the most intense situations. So I think they're doing a bunch of mechanics when it comes to like takedowns and assassinations and like stealth warfare. That makes me think there's going to be things, and the AI will be refined, you know, to kind of be able to be snuck up on and react to that differently depending on if they can see you or not. And again, quality of life changes. I'm sure this is not an all-inclusive thing by any means. These are kind of like the big marquee features that go kind of like the headline, and then everything else. We can kind of see that with Night Ops, right? Day-night cycle, and then all the stuff they're adding and fixing below that. Spring of 2027, engage in rising tensions. The face of rising tensions in Lemang Island. The balance of power is delicate and easy disrupted. Your faction success hinges on mastering the art of influence and control. Strengthen your position, outmaneuver rivals, and disrupt their plans to gain the upper hand. These strategies will sharpen your tactical skills and help shift balance of power in your favor. Securing dominance in this high-stakes environment. Your ability to navigate and impact the factional landscape will be crucial in achieving victory and shaping the ongoing struggle for supremacy. So if I'm not mistaken, I could be mistaken, but if I'm not mistaken, I'm harkening back to my video before. I think this is the one where there's like kind of a faction rep, and you can actually become a rogue PMC. Like you can become a rogue PMC with no faction, where you can't go back to the base. You have to do things to get back. People can hunt you and stuff like that. So that's what I think is going to be the big gameplay change there. And then update 1.0. So this is the big one. You know, we're like spring fall. So this would be like fall of 2027. It sounds like would be the big one, 1.0. Your ultimate mission is to navigate the complexities of Lemang Island and uncover perilous Ground Zero. This epic finale is a culmination of all the lore and PMC activities. So basically they're unlocking Ground Zero, and that's going to be the full game. And then it talks about Beyond the Future is what we have here, again in the flavor text, and basically just talks about how right now is only 20% of the vision and all these things are ahead. And also, if you kind of look in the low right corner of the roadmap, you can kind of see some shots and some stuff going on. There's like some blue smoke and a downed helicopter inside Ground Zero. We've also learned from my earlier video that Ground Zero is being like built and worked on right now. There's nothing in the game right now, but they're saving that for 1.0 release. Like that's going to be like the big thing, to be able to finish and finally see the end game when that happens. And we're talking about, you know, fall of 2027. So I've said this, it's going to be a multi-year thing. We're talking 2.5 years or something like that to get this game to completion. And there's going to be stuff to do in the meantime. And again, I will iterate, this is not all inclusive. There's more stuff going on than just these things. But it sounds pretty cool. I myself am kind of excited for Dark Revelations. I think that could add a lot of replayability, more places to go around the maps. Night Ops is going to be awesome and change the way things are, but I think there's things in each one of these updates that are going to really change things. And I know it's been kind of weird. A lot of people are really impatient, myself included, with what's going on, and I'm kind of the same way. And we get such a weird thought and a weird definition, like a super weird and blurry, cloudy definition of what early access is. And I think this is truly an early access game. And then we see something like Delta Force that comes out in what they call an alpha state that's been worked on for a really long time, undergone extensive testing over in China, and has the multi-billion-dollar conglomerate of Tencent over it, right? So they have unlimited resources, and we see an alpha, and we want to compare that to kind of this being in an alpha state, and it's not the same game. So basically what we're seeing here with Gray Zone Warfare, it is a true alpha from an indie studio. You know, they're funding themselves based on what, you know, pre-orders, not pre-orders, I mean, purchases of early access. Now they're finishing the game, right? Like it's kind of like it's not really, it's kind of like a GoFundMe, but you're purchasing early access at a cheaper price than it's going to be at 1.0. So kind of you get the discount there for like kind of, you know, supporting early on. But we are truly, as early access players, supporting this game. And I will say, you know, there's other games, you know, incredibly complicated games that have taken a really long time. I still play Rainbow Six Siege, you know, that launched back in like 2015 or 16, and they're still working on stuff in that game. We all know the story of Escape from Tarkov, how that's getting close to 1.0, and you know, it's been 8, close to 9 years for Escape from Tarkov. So you look at it and you're like, man, this game released, I paid for it, I just want to play the dang thing and see 1.0, and all this stuff sounds really cool. But on the other hand, it's gonna have to take patience. But if they can keep to this timeline, you know, it does say subject to change at the bottom. If they can keep to this timeline, it will be a lot shorter than a lot of other studios have put a complicated game like this together. And I don't think I've seen one also that's put a roadmap out this far in advance. So it takes some balls to do that, you know, to call their shots and say, this is what we're getting done on this time frame. So yeah, I'm mixed emotions here. I'm like, man, that sounds like a long time, but also the older I get, the more I don't want time to go faster, right? Like I'm getting up there in age, probably over the halfway point in my life, and I'm like, things can kind of slow down if they want to. 2 years will be here before you know it. So trust me, it's important to enjoy where you're at the time. That's a little bit of me getting like a little bit of wisdom-y, but yeah, enjoy where you're at right now. Don't wish for things to hurry too much. But with this timeline, yeah, I'm impatient. I want this stuff now. I want it sooner. But I think all things considering, it's a pretty reasonable timeline for the ambition and what they're undertaking. You have to remember Unreal Engine 5. You have to remember Scala. They made their own engine to handle vegetation and everything rendering in the world. So it's a complicated game by a pretty small indie studio. So in my personal opinion, a couple years is pretty darn reasonable for everything they're trying to get in there. But I definitely understand, and I wish there was some way, you know, and this is just me like being real here. I wish there was some way that the definitions of like early access, betas, and alphas could be standardized, right? Because when we're talking games from big publishers, like Delta Force's alpha was really incredibly complete. It was bug free. There was a ton of depth. There was a lot of stuff in there. It's not the same thing as this game. This game is truly kind of like a crowd-funded effort. You know, you still got a product right away. It's not like a Kickstarter where like, give us the money and we promise we'll get you a game. You bought the game to support it, and it's playable right now, and there's a lot of stuff to do in it. But it's totally different from like a Delta Force, or even like Call of Duty just had their, you know, beta, which is essentially the play test before they launch in a month. So there's a whole bunch of different things to understand, and I see where this game has gotten a little bit of a bad rap for that. Alpha doesn't mean alpha, early access doesn't mean early access, but it's finally nice to see where we're headed and about how long it'll take to get there. If you guys made it to the end of this video, I cannot thank you enough. I really appreciate all the support. Thank you to Madfinger Games for letting me check this out early and kind of letting me give my opinion and thoughts on it. And there's tons of other creators doing the same. And the fact that you guys watched mine is incredibly humbling, and it means a lot. So don't forget to tune in to Madfinger Games. There will be a lot more context than what I have provided by Mara. And who knows, you never know what Mara is going to say. So that's part of the experience. That's part of the fun and the entertainment when it comes to that. Guys, thank you so much. And I'd really love to see you on the next one.